To get an immigrant visa, the first step in obtaining a green card or legal permanent residence, applicants must travel to a consular office for an in-person interview. This critical step is common practice in many nations. In others, applicants may have to travel a long distance to another consulate. In others, the U.S. does not process immigrant visas at all, forcing applicants to get authorization to go to a third nation for processing.
Visit us at Swat&Vee channel with your questions to see how best we can help you out with your process. Please don't forget to subscribe if you're new to the channel.
Now let's get into the video and find out what's new in U.S. immigration. This lack of processing is not a result of COVID-19 closures but simply a policy choice on the part of the U.S. Department of State. In 2023, the State Department has decided to indefinitely offer no routine immigrant visa processing in 67 countries. About 720 million people reside in countries without routine immigrant visa processing. The main alternate processing locations for these countries were an average of 669 miles away. Over the last decade, the State Department has issued over 400,000 immigrant visas to people from these countries. It almost certainly would have issued many more if not for this significant hurdle. You can find a list of the countries without an immigrant visa processing consulate. The list of countries is based on the list of nationalities that the United States recognizes for purposes of processing non-immigrant or temporary visas. The countries without routine immigrant visa processing are due to the following reasons. Number 1. No consulate is available in 24 countries. About 36% of those without immigrant visa processing. The country simply does not have a consulate or embassy. Though this doesn't always mean that there are no U.S. consular affairs officials in those countries, the lack of a consulate means that there is no opportunity to apply for visas. The two largest countries in this group are North Korea and the state of Palestine, where the United States has no diplomatic ties. The rest are small states and island nations, the largest of which is Comoros, with nearly 900,000 residents. Number 2. Closed consulates in another 12 countries. 18% of cases, the State Department has closed the consulates. These are permanent or indefinite closures, not related to COVID-19. This list continues to grow. The earliest such closure was in Iran in 1979, and although other Western countries, like the United Kingdom, process visas there, the United States has made no attempt to revisit this decision in over 4 decades. A few years ago, the State Department closed its consulate in Venezuela to demonstrate political opposition to its government. Most recently, the United States shuttered embassies in Ukraine, Belarus, and Russia, even though there is no fighting occurring in the latter two nations. One solution to this problem would be for the United States to divorce visa issuing functions from whether it has diplomatic ties with that country. Number 3. Non-immigrants only in another 28 countries. About 42% of cases actually have a consulate, but it only processes non-immigrant or temporary visas to the United States. It will not handle immigrant visas. In one way, this makes sense because non-immigrant visas are much more common than immigrant visas. But it is also difficult to justify excluding such a small percentage of applicants when immigrants typically have much closer connections to the United States. The State Department should make immigrant visa services immediately available at these locations. Number 4. Almost no visas or no visas. The final 3 embassies, 4%, without routine immigrant visa processing offer no visas at all, Central African Republic, and very limited non-immigrant visa processing, Timor-Leste and South Sudan. In many cases, the alternate locations aren't even en route to the United States, creating much longer trips than the raw mileage would indicate. But as attorney Amy Nkaku points out, the lack of visa processing in the country is more than a matter of distance. For example, not only do Iranians need to leave Iran for the visa interview, they also need to leave their home country for other elements of the immigrant visa process, such as medical screening, making the distance even more costly. Other complications can arise when it is difficult to enter the alternate locations. For instance, Yemenis are required to be processed in Egypt, but they need to obtain a visa to enter Egypt. Attorney Rafael Arania estimates that the lack of in-country processing can add tens of thousands of dollars for large Yemeni families. Palestinians also have difficulty getting visas processed in Jerusalem because of Israel's entry restrictions. Here is a depressing story about an Iraqi family who obtained visas to go to Turkey for processing, but their Turkish visas expired before the State Department processed their U.S. visas. One Afghan told Ben Shamaso that he spent his life savings to be able to get a permit to travel to Pakistan. Some applicants, however, simply cannot travel to another embassy. The problem is there is no embassy in Afghanistan, Army Captain Jeff Trammell told NBC about why he has been unable to obtain an immigrant visa for his Afghan interpreter. Trammell said he was frustrated with the refusal to do remote interviews electronically. The requirement to interview at a U.S. embassy or consulate is one of the requirements that rarely makes it into a summary of U.S. immigration law, but it is important, and it can be very challenging in some circumstances. The State Department should conduct virtual interviews and allow immigrant visa applicants to interview at consulates that are currently non-immigrant only. Immigrating to the United States can be made much easier without congressional action, and this administration shouldn't miss its opportunity to deliver.
I hope you guys found this video extremely helpful. If you know anybody that could benefit from this information, definitely make sure to share this video with them. We are all about empowering you with knowledge. So the more people that can benefit from this video, the more people we want watching this video. If you like this video, please make sure to hit that thumbs icon. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and hit on the notification bell for more immigration updates. Bye!